Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. You're watching Rabbi Rock. Music plays a central role in Jewish life. The sacred singers, the Levites of the temple, Solomon's temple, the second temple as well, would stand on the 15 steps of the temple playing their harps, ascending each step for all of the Shir Hamalot, the songs of ascent, and inspire the people with their song. Music is part of worship to God. It opens gates that otherwise cannot be opened. The Jewish music scene is just arising. We're way behind the Christian rock scene. Christian rock has come a long way. The music is great. There are genres of Christian rock. Every single genre of music. If it's rap, there's Christian rock rap. If it's heavy metal, there's Christian heavy metal. And the Jewish scene is coming along, and we have some great artists. You've seen here before Neshama Karlbach, daughter of the great Rebbe, the father of neo-Hasidic music, I'd say. Here singing her music. You've seen Pharaoh's daughter, Batya Shechter. And today we have Batya Diamond, I'm going to bring on just in a moment, with her new CD called Love Along the Way. So, Batya, it's really great having you here. Welcome to Rabbi Rock.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So, you finally did it. You came out with your first CD.
It's so exciting. After a lifetime of thinking about it, it's actually there.
I love your CD.
Thank you.
Here it is, Love Along the Way, Batya Diamond. And we're going to hear some of this in a little bit. But tell us a little bit about how you got to it, how you succeeded in enacting your dreams.
Well, of course, it was a long and circuitous journey that took about 45 years. And it's interesting because in retrospect, you realize how certain people who you meet in your life sort of lead you to that next step.
Right.
But I was always writing songs and singing songs as a child. And I had a pretty solid Jewish background. But it wasn't until about 5-7 years ago when the Judaism and the music came together. I was not encouraged by my parents as a child to be musical. And they wound up directing me towards law school.
They wanted you to be a lawyer.
A lawyer in New York. So I did that. But it wasn't until I was working as a lawyer, I got laid off from my job and got severance and was enjoying my home in Wilton, and I would sit on my back porch and had a chance to just write music for a couple of years and to just explore that side of me.
Wow, I should have done that. Become a lawyer, lost my job, get a big severance, and write songs.
There you go. You never know what's going to lead you to the place you need to be in. And fortunately, my husband is very supportive of what I do, which is really important.
Very important, yes.
But at the time I was writing, I had been disconnected from Judaism for a long time because I grew up, I went to Hebrew day school. When I was 12, becoming a bat mitzvah, I wasn't allowed to read from the Torah. It was sort of at the very beginning of the women's movement, and I felt very disenfranchised. And many years later, I had 2 children. When my daughter was born, I was still not connected to Judaism. But when I was pregnant with my son, I knew it was going to be a boy, and I knew we would have a bris. And it sent me back into re-exploring, well, why? What does this mean to me?
Yes.
And I found many new avenues of accessing Judaism as an adult, as a woman in the late 20th century.
Great.
And I discovered a lot of Jewish music. And Neshama Karlbach was actually the first cassette that when I went into West Side Judaica, in the Upper West Side of New York, not quite, maybe 10 years ago, I found her music, and that really inspired me.
Yes, it did.
And from there, I started writing my own Jewish music.
I brought her to her first concert down in Florida. It was shortly after her father died, and she had decided to carry on the legacy. It was just weeks after her father died.
Wow.
So yes, she's done us all a great favor of bringing it to the next level, bringing it to this generation. What were some of your musical influences growing up?
Elton John, Billy Joel, James Taylor, the basic, pop music, Broadway songs, and Jewish music. I mean, in my heart, Jewish camp songs, things like Yerushalayim Shel Zahav and Machar and Hakotel, you know, some of these songs that you don't really hear so much these days, but they were very moving.
Are you following contemporary Israeli music, or are you kind of...
More contemporary American Jewish music.
Okay.
I actually participate with a group, it's called Hava Nashira, and it's part of the Reform Movement's camp song leader groups, and each year they hold a retreat in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, where people like Debbie Friedman and Jeff Klepper and Donnie Masseng and Dan Nichols, Rick Recht, they've attended, and they're training, they're training the song leaders of the future, the college students who are teaching at the camps, the summer camps.
Fabulous.
And, it's
How about any of the rap? Have you heard any of the Jewish rap?
I haven't. I've heard of Matisyahu, but I haven't actually heard his music.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm aware that it's out there, but I haven't been hearing it.
I think he's more of like a reggae, type thing.
Okay.
But there's been some great stuff coming out of Israel by young artists, maintaining the Phrygian scale and the Sephardic singing, but with the rap mode and all that.
Sure, that makes sense.
I think it's happening. I think people are doing this music, and that's why we want to do this show, to put it out there. Rabbi Rock TV Enterprises wants to, do the MTV type thing, but with the Jewish music.
Great.
The East Indians have their own television. The Chinese have their own television. It's time for the Jews to have our own television.
Thank you. One thing that's lacking too is there are so many individual Jewish artists making music, and it's not like there is a market, or whether it's radio or TV, there's not a way to easily discover, oh, this is the new artist. It's sort of like you have to find it on your own.
It's there, but it's kind of loosely there.
Right.
And that's exactly what Rabbi Rock Enterprises wants to do, is to bring it there, bring it maybe perhaps even under a label, or a wide-reaching label. You have your cantors, you have your klezmer singers, you have your groovy, woovy, people like yourself. But we're all kind of doing our own things, and we have to get together because there's not that many of us.
Right.
Well, let's hear some of your music. You have a couple of songs picked out?
I do. And the first song, you had lovingly and beautifully described the song of ascents and singing in the temple. And the first song is called Ali Ve'er, which is Arise, O Well. And the text is from the book of Numbers. And it's after Miriam dies, telling the Jewish people, if you need water, you have to sing to the well to bring up the spirit.
Beautiful.
So this first song is called Ali Ve'er.
Fabulous.